The night my mother locked the door early was the night I thought we would all die inside that house. I was standing in the sitting room when the knock came. Not on the date, not on the window, on the main door. Slow and calm, like the person knocking knew we were inside and was not in a hurry. My mother shouted the name of Jesus and began to pray like someone fighting for her life. My father froze. My younger brothers started crying. And me? I stood there, unable to move, because deep inside me, I already knew whoever was outside was not supposed to be alive. That was how the night ended in my head before it even truly began. But let me go back to the beginning. In our house, doors were not locked early, never. Our mother always said only thieves locked themselves in too early. She believed that if your heart was clean, no evil could enter your house. Even when armed robbers were disturbing the area, our door stayed open until late. Midnight was normal, sometimes even later. So when my mother walked to the door that evening and locked it by 7 p.m., my chest started beating fast. The sky was still bright. Children were still playing football outside. Neighbors were still calling each other. My youngest brother was still outside chewing sugarcane. Nothing looked wrong, but my mother looked wrong. She did not talk to anybody. She did not shout. She did not warn us. She just locked the door and went straight to her room. Few minutes later, her voice came out strong and shaking. She was praying loudly, not the normal prayer she prays every evening. This one was different. She was shouting, crying, calling God like someone chasing death away. My father muted the television. I dropped the phone I was holding. We all looked at each other. Something was very wrong. I went to her door and knocked gently. I asked her if she was fine. She did not answer. Her prayers became louder. Words were falling from her mouth like fire. My father came and knocked harder. He told her to open the door. When she finally opened it, I nearly cried. My mother looked like she had seen the end of the world. Her face was pale. Her eyes were red. Her hands were shaking. She told us to sit down. She said earlier that day, while sweeping the front yard, she felt someone watching her. When she turned, she saw a man standing close to the mango tree. She wanted to shout at him for standing there like a thief. Then she recognized him. It was Ifeanyi, the cousin that died 3 years ago, the one we buried, the one whose grave we visited. She said he was standing there like a normal person. He was wearing the same brown shirt he used to wear. He did not talk. He just looked at her and smiled small. My brothers laughed nervously. My father said she must be tired. I did not talk, because as she spoke, I remembered something. I remembered that shirt, and I remembered that my mother never liked that mango tree, not since Ifeanyi died. That was the moment I knew this night was not an ordinary night. After my mother told us what she saw, the house became quiet in a way I had never felt before. It was not the peaceful kind of quiet. It was the kind that makes your ears hot and your chest tight. Even the ceiling fan sounded too loud. My brothers stopped laughing. My father cleared his throat many times but said nothing. My mother sat on the edge of the chair like she was ready to stand up and run at any moment. Her eyes kept moving from the door to the windows. She told us nobody should open anything, no matter who knocks. Not the gate, not the door, not even if it sounds like someone we know. Then she started talking again, slowly, like each word was painful. She said Ifeanyi did not die at peace. When he was alive, he was always in trouble. He drank too much. He owed many people money. He fought with relatives. People in the family did not like him. Even my mother got tired of him. 3 days before he died, he came to our house late in the evening. I was in secondary school then. I remembered seeing him at the gate. His clothes were dirty. His eyes were tired. He did not look drunk that day. He looked scared. My mother said he begged her to let him sleep in our house for one night. He said something was following him. He said he felt it when he walked and when he slept. He said it whispered his name. My mother said she shouted at him. She told him to stop acting mad. She told him to leave our house before neighbors started gossiping. She said she was angry because people were already calling our family names because of him. I remembered that night clearly. I remembered how he stood by the gate and looked back at the house before walking away. I remembered feeling bad, but I was too young to talk. My mother said the next time she heard about Ifanyi was when they called that he was dead. He died suddenly, no long sickness, no warning, just like that. As she talked, her voice began to break. She said since that day, she had always felt something watching her, especially in the evenings, especially near the mango tree. She said when she saw him that afternoon, she knew he did not come for greeting. She said his smile was not friendly. It was like someone reminding you of something you forgot. That was why she locked the door early. My father finally spoke. He said dead people do not walk around. He said fear can make the eyes see nonsense. He said prayers will solve everything. My mother nodded, but her eyes said she did not believe him. Night came fully. The sky went dark. The street outside became quiet. One by one, neighbors closed their gates. The generator sound reduced. Our house felt like it was standing alone. My mother brought her mattress to the sitting room. She said nobody would sleep alone that night. She said we must stay together. We prayed again. We prayed until my throat hurt. Still, sleep did not come. Then I heard it, a sound like someone touching the gate. I sat up. I held my breath. My mother stopped praying. The sound moved closer. Then came the knock. Not loud, not angry, just calm. On the door. 3 times. My mother shouted the name of Jesus and fell on her knees. My youngest brother started crying. My father stood up slowly, anger and fear fighting on his face. He said somebody was trying to scare us. He started walking toward the door. My mother screamed. She held his leg and begged him not to open it. She shouted that Ifanyi had come back. She shouted that she sent him away when he needed help. She shouted that he did not forgive her. The knocking stopped, but none of us slept. We just waited for whatever would happen next. When the knocking stopped, the silence that followed was worse than the sound itself. It felt heavy, like something was sitting on our chests. Nobody talked. Nobody moved. Even my youngest brother forgot to cry. We all stayed where we were, sitting close to each other on the floor, waiting for the next thing. My mother continued praying, but her voice was now low and tired. She was not shouting again. It sounded like she was begging. My father stood near the door, his hand still shaking. He did not try to open it again. Minutes passed, or maybe hours, I could not tell. I kept looking at the door. I expected it to shake. I expected something to push it. I expected to hear Ifeanyi's voice calling my mother's name, but nothing happened. At some point, my brothers fell asleep, one after the other. Fear can make children tired very fast. I did not sleep. My eyes were open the whole night. Every small sound made my heart jump. The wind, a dog barking far away, the sound of something falling in the kitchen. Each time, my mother would look at the door. I started thinking of things I never thought about before. I started thinking that maybe dead people do not always leave. Maybe some stay behind, holding on to the last place they were rejected. I also started thinking about my mother. She was not a wicked woman. She fed people. She prayed for people. She helped many. But that night made me understand that one bad moment can follow you forever. One door closed in anger can turn into a door you will beg to stay shut. Around early morning, when the sky was still dark but not fully black, we heard something outside again. This time, it was not a knock. It sounded like cloth dragging on the ground. Slow, careful. My mother held my hand so tight I felt pain. My father stood up again but did not move forward. We all listened. The sound stopped near the mango tree. Then there was nothing. When morning finally came, the sun did not bring relief. It only showed how tired and broken everyone looked. My mother could barely stand. Her eyes were swollen, her voice was gone. My father said we should wait until full daylight before opening the door, so we waited. When he finally opened it, nothing jumped at us. No ghost, no strange man, just our quiet compound. But something was wrong. Near the mango tree, something was on the ground. A brown shirt, folded neatly. I felt cold all over. I knew that shirt. I had washed it before when Ifeani used to visit. I remembered the small tear near the pocket. It was there. My mother started crying, not loud crying, the kind that shakes the body quietly. She said he brought it back. She said he wanted her to remember. We did not touch the shirt. My father called a pastor. The pastor prayed and talked and told us not to be afraid, but I saw fear in his eyes too. Later that day, the shirt was burned behind the house. Smoke went up slowly, like it was carrying something away. That night, my mother slept without praying loudly, but she did not sleep deeply. She kept turning. She kept waking up. Days passed. Weeks passed. Nobody knocked again. But my mother changed. She stopped yelling easily. She stopped locking the door too late. She began to lock it earlier than before, though never as early as that night. Sometimes, when she thought nobody was watching, I saw her stand near the window in the evening, staring at the mango tree, as if she was waiting, or as if she was afraid. And deep inside me, I knew that even though Ifeani never knocked again, that night never truly left our house. After that night, our house was never the same again, even though nothing strange happened again for a long time. People from church came to pray. Our pastor anointed the doors and windows. My father fasted for 3 days. Neighbors heard small rumors, but nobody knew the full story. Life tried to go back to normal, but guilt is a stubborn thing. It does not leave when prayers stop. It stays and waits. My mother became quieter. She woke up very early every morning, even before the cock crowed. Sometimes I found her sitting alone in the sitting room, staring at the door like she was listening for something that was not there. When I asked her what she was thinking, she would only say she was tired. She stopped going near the mango tree. Before, she used to sweep around it and even sit under it in the evenings. Now she walked far from it. If fruits fell from the tree, they stayed on the ground until my brothers picked them. My mother would not touch them. One afternoon, when everyone else had gone out, I saw her do something strange. She carried a small bowl of food and walked slowly to the mango tree. Her steps were careful, like she was afraid of stepping on something invisible. She placed the bowl at the foot of the tree, stood there for seconds, then walked back into the house without looking behind her. I did not ask her about it. That night, I could not sleep. My mind kept turning. I kept thinking about Ifeani, about how he looked when he came to our gate that day years ago, about how my mother shouted at him, about how alone he must have felt when he walked away. Around midnight, I heard my mother crying softly in her room. Not prayer, not shouting, just crying. The next morning, she told me something she had never told anyone else. She said Ifeani was not just her cousin. He was like a younger brother to her when they were young. She said she used to protect him. She said she promised his mother before she died that she would always look after him. She said she failed. She said when he came that last day, she was angry because of money problems and gossip. She said she chose peace of mind over mercy. She said she did not know that was the last chance she would have. As she spoke, I realized that what followed her was not just fear of a ghost, it was regret. Days later, strange small things started happening. The gate would be found open in the morning when nobody opened it at night. The mango fruits would drop even when there was no wind. The dog next door would bark at our house and refuse to stop. My mother never said it was a fanny. She never said it was anything spiritual. But every time something happened, she would sit quietly and press her chest like someone feeling pain inside. One evening, she locked the door early again. Not as early as that first night, but earlier than usual. When I asked her why, she looked at me with tired eyes. She said some doors close by themselves when guilt is standing outside. That night, I dreamed of a fanny. He was standing near the mango tree, holding his brown shirt. He was not smiling. He was not angry. He just looked tired. When I woke up, my mother was already awake, and the door was locked. The morning after my dream, my mother did something she had never done before. She called a family meeting, not just us in the house, but uncles, aunties, and elders from both sides of the family. She said it could not wait. When they came, she did not hide anything. She told them everything. How Ifeanyi came to her for help, how she chased him away, how she saw him again near the mango tree, how the door was locked early, and what followed that night. Some people laughed softly. Some shook their heads. Some went quiet. One old uncle did not laugh. He said when people die with heavy hearts, they look for places where love once failed them. He said prayer is good, but truth is better. He said a door closed in anger must be opened with honesty. That day, my mother did what she had been avoiding. She went to Ifeanyi's grave. We followed her. She knelt down on the dry ground and cried like a child. She did not shout. She did not pray long prayers. She said she was sorry. She said she should have helped. She said she failed him. She said she was carrying the weight every day. The wind blew gently. Nothing strange happened. No voice spoke. No shadow moved. But when we returned home, the house felt lighter. That evening, my mother cooked a meal and shared it with neighbors. She gave food to people who passed. She gave money to a beggar at the junction. She did not say why. That night, she locked the door at the normal time. Not early, not late. No knocking came. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. The mango trees still stood, but it no longer scared us. Fruits fell normally, birds rested on it again. My mother began to sweep near it once more, slowly, carefully, then normally. Sometimes I still remember that night. I remember the knock. I remember the brown shirt. I remember the fear that sat with us until morning. But more than fear, I remember what it taught me, that ghosts are not always dead people. Sometimes they are mistakes that never got apology. Sometimes they are doors we closed when someone needed us. Our door is still locked every night, not because we are afraid, but because we understand now that some nights are teaching nights, and some doors must be closed with wisdom, not fear. The night my mother locked the door early did not end our lives. It changed them. And every time I hear a knock at night, I listen carefully, not to the door, but to my heart.